Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
RoadToRoot.com. It's going to be a quick one today. I am on a show with Jean-Claude, Bill Holter, Andy Schechtman today about our new monetary system. It's called How to Transact when Banks Collapse. You got to go check this out. It's on Jean-Claude's channel, Beyond Mystic 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know. Go on to he's been kicked off so many channels. Go to his Twitter, Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic, and there's a link there, and that's going to be a good discussion because it literally is talking about the Road to Ruta theory. That was the entire thing behind the Road to Ruta. Why the Fed Boston posted all these documents back in 2007 and 1981. It was all about the crashing of the system and the going back to a gold standard, potentially a silver standard, but I don't know where they're going to get the silver, truthfully. But we are seeing today like two of the same old bullshit. We all know they can click a mouse and set the price of silver to minus $40 if they want, just like they did with oil. It is fully controlled by the computer programs. Don't sweat it. It's no big deal. Here, let me show you where they're gunning for. As always, it's the moving averages set at 23.30 and 23.45. I mean, how many times can they do this over and over and over again? The CFTC, it's not like they don't know what's happening. It's more like their job is to make sure that it happens, to make sure that you are not aware of why the price of silver is trading at 50% of its all-time high from 1980. This is the most important financial asset on the history of the planet. And just last weekend, they decided to triple the amount that is consumed. Now, this is the problem with price suppression. When you suppress the price of something, it's used in places it should not be used. We shouldn't be consuming all of our silver in solar panels. We shouldn't. We shouldn't be consuming all of our silver in flat screen TVs. Now they're just throwing away. People throw away silver. An ounce or two of silver in a big flat screen TV. They just throw it away because the price is suppressed artificially. So you're going to get a lot of waste, a lot of misallocation of that specific commodity in a specific area that it never should have been. So we are looking at, my estimate is over 400, maybe 500 million ounces that will be wasted in solar panels next year. And then go to 1 billion ounces a year. 2 billion is the plan. The total is over 4 billion to be used between now and 2030, which is what the UN directive is now for climate change. This is not, I'm not pulling your leg at all. As a matter of fact, I'm talking to one of the main guys over at Metals Focus about the numbers that they put out. Let me see where these numbers. Now they changed all the mine production numbers. I mean the industrial production numbers, and he said in past interviews that sometimes they change numbers when they get new information. So I'm hoping it will be a very fruitful conversation about why the Silver Institute has only 160 million ounces that will be consumed in photovoltaics when it was actually 283 million. That's this year, and then next year is going to be probably, well, they want to triple it. So at least double, coming into triple or quadrupling by 2030 to save the planet. This has all been announced. That is why, and it was announced this weekend. They don't say silver, they say we got to increase solar 3x. Well, solar's already destroying the availability of silver. So what do the price riggers do? They got to do this to keep the retail buyers out. Imagine what would happen if all of a sudden on that announcement, silver was freely traded and all of a sudden jumped over $30. People don't sell, investors don't sell their silver at $30. What happens is it would get more media and people would start buying and buying and buying the real thing. And this is why you cannot hold physical silver in an ETF, in mining shares, in anything other than your own possession. This is the end game we're approaching. We'll be talking about this with Jean-Claude. Anyway, so sit back, watch. They're going to probably slam it down farther. I don't know, 21. Could they get below 20? Of course they can. It's a click of a mouse. You can naked short any amount of silver you want. if you have the backing of the U.S. government, the regulators, and the Exchange Stabilization Fund. So that's where we are. Again, go listen to this discussion. We're doing it live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So go check that out. We'll be discussing all this stuff. Why are they slamming silver now? Obviously, the biggest announcement in history was just made, that they're going to be tripling the amount of solar power to save the world. So I know it's sad. A lot of people keep sending me this stuff about the U.S. government soaking up all the silver. They need it for military, Department of Defense. John Forrest Little's article. I've read it a couple times, and it's made some claims that I have still yet to see the backup of where you get, what is it, 500? Where is it? The Tomahawk missile number is so big. I don't know if it's true or not. And I mean, just because someone says it doesn't mean it's true. This guy's a good researcher, but I didn't see where he got his information. And that's what I do. Basically, I don't want anybody to believe me. I want to point them in the direction where the facts are. So if we can get a better understanding, we know they use a lot of silver in the military. Military doesn't care about cost of silver at all. So military doesn't give a shit. They print money like it's going out of style. They don't even know how much money they have. The Fed gives them money and doesn't even count it on the books. Of course, just like every other country. So I don't know. I have no idea how much silver is used by the military. I assume it's a lot, but I don't see any backup for the some of these claims. At least lead us to the link where you discovered it. Show us how you came to these conclusions, and specific links so we can verify it. The road to root theory is all about trust and verify. And let's see. A new kind of solar cell coming. Yes, they are inventing new solar cells. At some point in the future, probably when silver jumps to $1,000 an ounce, they won't be making many solar panels with silver. There are new technologies, but they haven't been mass produced yet. The factories, the manufacturing factories of the cells, are all going TopCon right now, which is a massive user of silver. So yes, in the future, obviously, we can't consume 1 billion ounces of silver every year in solar panels, but that's what they just announced. So one would think the price would rise, but because the price isn't rising, they're not going to change out the technology. Remember, this is 25 to 30-year installations. A lot of people say, they could just swap out copper. They really can't for various reasons. It's not a good conductor of electricity, but it's having problems with the connectors and all that stuff. Silver is a noble metal, meaning it doesn't really rust and corrode, whereas copper is not. It does rust and corrode. So on a 25, 30-year outdoor type of asset, you better be damn sure that this is going to work properly, and they aren't sure yet on most of it. That's why it takes so long. I mean, TopCon had invented this technology of using kind of double the amount of silver on each layer to get double, whatever they do. Years ago. It should have started years ago, but you got to build these manufacturing plants. You got to plan this all out. You can't just say, there's a new technology. Boom, everybody's going to be using it. Next year is the year of TopCon, and TopCon uses double the amount of silver as PERC. And I'm going to talk to the Metals Focus guy about this and see where they get their numbers. If they're calling people who have a vested interest in telling people that, no, we're not using much silver at all, that's a different deal, If you ask Jeffrey Christian and say, hey, Jeff, how much silver is used in investment? He says, no, nobody does that. You can't believe that shit. You got to do your own homework. The best way I have found to figure out how much silver is in the entire solar industry is look at what kind of technologies they are implementing, manufacturing, and then implementing into the system, and what percentage of each technology, and then how much silver is used in each technology. And then it gives you a global overall. And yeah, you can talk to as many people as you want, because that'll add to what your number is. Or it might tell you, hey, maybe there's less silver in this certain technology than than I had previously thought. Then the data, when it first came out, maybe things have changed. We haven't seen many announcements about adding less silver to TopCon. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. We're talking about adding more silver to help the connectors hold together better, because this is a 25 to 30-year asset. Anyway, so that's what's going on. It'll be a good discussion, hopefully. It's a preliminary discussion, so this isn't going to be posted anywhere. We're just going to feel each other out about where we get our numbers. And I think both of us want to come to the same conclusion. What is the correct number for silver industrial demand? And I would like to know why they jumped up all their last 10 years of industrial demand. Maybe he's found something that I hadn't seen. I'm not sure, but definitely their numbers went up. And I don't know if the Silver Institute is really keen on changing 10 years of historical numbers either. So I'll get to the bottom of that. And then at some point, hopefully, if our discussion goes well, we'll do an interview for the world and talk about it, because this is so important. I mean, Ted Butler's going after the regulators and his congressmen saying, hey, is JP Morgan double counting the silver that they have in inventories of SLV? Are those counted in the inventories of the LBMA or of the COMEX warehouses? Because that would be double counting almost 500 million ounces of silver. And they have not come back to him. It's like been weeks. This is like, should be no brainer. The answer is yes or no. And I believe the answer is yes. That's why they're not getting back to him, which means 500 million ounces of silver are being double counted as far as inventories are right now. That's a pretty big deal. Okay, so we will be talking about certain things today on this Jean-Claude discussion. It will be about what happens when the monetary system collapses. How do you transact? So I'm sure we'll be talking about cryptos. I'm sure we'll be talking about the potential for a gold standard and what are the questions. I mean, for me, this is something I've been studying since 2007. Matter of fact, I have a Road to Ruta article that I just made public to everybody. It was a private road article on the Wishes and Rainbows Teacher's Guide, where they ask over 60 questions on this very topic. What are the distribution systems? What might happen if the people don't accept the distribution? Like if people don't accept going to a gold standard or going to a CBDC, what happens then? Who are the authorities? Who has the authority to implement something like this? Who would agree? What happens if they don't agree? All kinds of amazing questions in the Road to Ruta documents that came from the Fed. It's still up there, the Fed Boston. There's Banking Basics. The Road to Ruta documents are still on the website. That's the Wishes and Rainbows comic book about going back to a gold standard, and the Teacher's Guide, which explains all the questions that we are going to be dealing. I've been dealing since 2007 with this same question, the exact same question that Jean-Claude is asking us today. How do transacts when the banks collapse? Most people do not have gold. The U.S. government, I think, has massive amounts of gold. And how do they reallocate the gold to the population? When the banks close, there's going to be no fiat money running around. There's going to be some change. There's going to be some little bills, but no one will be able to make change for the bills. So what do we do? How do we do it? And the FDIC surely has their idea. You want to hear the FDIC's idea? Here, listen to this.
Should be accessible when people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
I completely agree with that. I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank? Like, my insurance company doesn't tell me what they're doing with my assets if they just assume they're going to pay my claim, right? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do, that we want them to have full faith and confidence in the banking system.
Did you just hear that? So they want to lie to the people. He just said it. This is the FDIC meeting on November 9th, 2022. They want to lie to the people about what's going on with our banking system. They know the FDIC is going to have and they talk about bail-ins, And they say, hey, the first bail-in that happens, everybody's going to run to their bank. But these people are lying to us on purpose. And he just said it. The people have more confidence than we do, but we want them to have more confidence. We want them to be in the dark about what's going to happen to their money. These are not, again, these people will not be the deciders. And these are the people that run the FDIC. Do not count on the FDIC for money. I mean, when the banks crash, the FDIC has $120 billion. And they're going to need to create, I think they insure over $8 trillion. So they're going to have to go back to Congress. And Congress would be lucky to be in session. I don't think they will be. This is the end game, my friends. I hope you understand that. Get your money out of the banks. Get it in your own possession. And when little things like this ridiculous rig job happen, know what's going on. Why did they do it? Why then? Why was it right after the announcement of the UN tripling renewable energies by 2030? All right, that's what I got for you. I gotta run. Again, 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 o'clock. Today's December 5th, Tuesday. I'll be on with Jean-Claude at Beyond Mystic. And here's a good link on Rumble right at the top. Go to Rumble, Jean-Claude with a dash at Beyond Mystic, and go check that out. It's going to be a good discussion. And that's what I got for you. Also, so much going on today. Today is the last day we're giving away the Silver Ruta coin for all new private road subscription and renewals. This is the last day we're going to give this away. We give it for 1 year membership to the private road. We give away a Silver Ruta coin. Tomorrow we start giving away one Veritasium token. I know everybody's all excited about that. The Veritasium token, think of it as insurance in case Gary Gensler gets over his skis on cryptos. But that starts tomorrow at midnight tonight. The silver coin giveaway ends, and then the Veritasium. Load it on a paper wallet. You don't even have to know anything about cryptos, and send to your home address. So check it out today if you want your silver Road to Ruta coin, the coolest coin ever made. That baby's going to be a collector's item for sure. Today's the last day. All right? Go to roadtoruta.com, click on subscribe today, and you can get there. This is Bix Weir. I'll talk to you later.